Hi, sweet baby. We just got off the phone with each other, and you asked me to read you a bedtime story. And I know you're probably sleeping already, but I'm going to read you one for tomorrow night. So we're going to pick up where we left off in the Iliad. And Mom's going to read you the next chapter. It was really nice talking to you on my bicycle. I like talking to you. You're smart, you're funny, and you are a strong lady. You're doing a really good job while Mom is away. I know that it's not the easiest to not have your mom at home with you. But I bet you're proud of me. I'm trying to get that light out of the way. I bet you're proud of me. I'm proud of you for being so strong while I'm away. So the last chapter we had read was called Single Combat. Remember? When the two guys got in a fight. The next chapter, it's got some good pictures. Okay. So this is going to be a bit of a quicker story because Mom's got to cook dinner and it's in the kitchen right now. Cooking. That light out of there. Oh, that's better. So this is called Paris Makes an Offer and the Greeks Make a Wall. It's just words, so I'm going to read it from the book. This is your bedtime story for tomorrow. The Trojans were relieved to see Hector come back safely, but they longed for an end to the war. Their leaders gathered in King Priam's palace, and one of them, Antenor, dared to say aloud what many were thinking. He said, "What was all the fighting for? This is not an honorable war for us. We should give Helen back to Menelaus." Menelaus. They're fighting over a girl. And give all back her treasure, too. Paris jumped to his feet, shouting furiously. And Paris is the one with Helen. "Helen is my wife," he said. "I will never let her go, but I don't care about the treasure. Menelaus can have it all, and more, besides, if he agrees to end the war and go away." Other people began to shout, some agreeing with Paris, and some with Antenor. King Priam stood, raising his hands for silence. "Paris made a fair offer," he said. "Tomorrow morning let's send Aeneas, our herald, to the Greek ships and tell Agamemnon and Menelaus what Paris says. At the same time, he can ask for a truce to let us carry our dead warriors from the battlefield and give them a proper funeral." Everyone agreed to this plan. They all went off their separate quarters, hopeful that the end of the war was in sight at last. In the Greek camp, the mood was completely different. Ajax was welcomed as though he had won a great victory, and Agamemnon had a fine bull roasted, and he'd carved the best pieces of meat for Ajax. As the Greek king sat together at the feast, wise old Nestor leaned forward into the firelight. "I have a plan," he said. "Many of our brave soldiers have been killed and their bodies are scattered across the plain. Let's arrange a truce tomorrow morning so that we can retrieve the bodies and build a funeral pyre." Everyone agreed with that, but Nestor hadn't finished. And Lydia, a funeral pyre is when someone dies and they burn their body. And he's going to burn many bodies at one time. Everyone agreed with that, but Nestor hadn't finished. He then said, "We can use the funeral pyre to build a defense for our ships. After the bodies are burned, we can pile earth on top of the pyre to make a long mound sealing off this beach. If we put wooden walls on top of the mound and dig a trench in front of it, our ships will be well protected." The other kings liked Nestor's plan, and soon they were given a chance to carry it out. Before sunrise the next morning, the Trojan herald Aeneas arrived, bringing a message from King Priam. "Noble lords," he said, "I have come to ask for a truce. We want to give our dead heroes a proper funeral. Also, I bring you a generous offer from Prince Paris. If you agree to end this unhappy war, he'll give us back all the treasure he took from Sparta, with more besides, from his own treasure store. But he insists on keeping Helen as his wife." The Greek kings stared back at him. They were stunned. "We cannot accept," Diomedes said fiercely. "Not even if he offers to give up Helen too. We are going to win this war." The other kings roared with their agreement, and Agamemnon turned to the herald. "You've heard our answer," he said. "The war goes on, but we will agree to a truce just for today. The war goes on, and then go back and tell Priam that he can collect the bodies of his soldiers, and we will do the same." By the time the sun rose, Greeks and Trojans were out on the battlefield again. They came face to face with each other, but there was no fighting this time. Instead, they searched for their dead comrades and solemnly loaded their bodies onto wagons. The Trojans built a funeral pyre outside the city walls, and the Greeks made their entrance near the harbor. All day the sky was dark, and in the smoke there was a deep sadness on both sides of the plain. Here's the picture. Before dawn the next morning, the Greeks gathered secretly beside the cold remains of their funeral pyre. Working in the dark, they heaped earth over the pyre, building a mound that ran along the harbor. They topped it with a strong wooden wall and made a stout paneled gate, and then their chariots rode through. Outside the wall, they dug a ditch which they filled with sharpened stakes, and then by the time the sun rose, the whole thing was complete. It towered above the plain, and the Greeks sat down and feasted, drinking and toasting to the new wall. They made sure it would keep the Trojans away from their ships. But Zeus, the king of the gods, was not pleased. When he saw the wall, he wanted the Greeks to rely on his protection, not on a man-made defense. He called the gods together, frowning as he spoke to them. "It's time to finish this war," he said. "I'm going to settle it, and I forbid the rest of you to interfere. If you do, I'll send you plunging down into the darkest of Tartarus." The gods trembled at his threat, and the whole sky shuddered. Looking up nervously, the Greeks saw thick clouds sliding across the moon. All night long, thunder rode ominously above their ships. So, my darling, this was a short chapter, perfect for us for tonight. Mommy got it to you as fast as she could. That was the only illustration in it. And what happened in this chapter? Well, one side decided that they didn't want to fight anymore, so they offered the other side an agreement to try to stop. The other side did not agree. They said, "Nope, we've already started this war. We are going to finish it and win." So they took a day off, and they agreed to not fight for one day while they got their dead off of the battlefield, because they've been fighting and so many people have died. And while they did that, the side that had originally offered to not fight anymore took up their backup plan, which was to make sure that they were protected from the other side. The next time we read together, Mommy will be reading the next chapter, which is this one, The Greeks on the Run. What's gonna happen next? I don't know. I'm glad we're reading this story together, Lydia. I love you so much. You are the best girl in the world. I hope you have sweet dreams tonight and tomorrow night too. And Mommy will read you another chapter of the Illiad as soon as I can. Bye, baby.